Girls, shoot your shot.
Like, if you see my wife,
Yeah.
delusion. Let me tell you something that Nyasha did. Hi, this is the BBC. This is the BBC. What have I intentionally done to make people mad? I do what they call in the history books divide and conquer. I don't like the idea of being controversial for controversial sake. I said black label when you assumed it was risky.
What do you mean?
Pants without money. Don't do it. If you're, it's just like, hey, my guy, you're trying to distract her.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode, not even another episode, another season of With Nyasha Michelle. And I always say every single episode is special, but this whole season, my guy, is on another level. And the reason is because we are doing Zimbabwe with Nyasha Michelle. The next few episodes, a bunch of them that you're going to watch, are going to be coming from my very own motherland. And I want to teach you guys all the good things that Zim has got to offer. But before I introduce my very first and very special guest, I want to remind you, make sure that if you have not subscribed, please hit that button, subscribe, and also follow us on the social medias where we can keep you up to date with what is going on. And also you can get some behind the scenes stuff at With Nyasha Michelle. And if you can't get enough of this podcast and you want a little bit of me, you can follow me at Nyasha Michelle _. Okay, now that's all about me, right? I now need to introduce you guys to the person who is right next to me. I don't really have that many words to say about this person because talking is what he does for a living and he is laughing. Talking is what he does for a living, but what he also does is he makes people laugh for a reason. And he makes people laugh with his jokes. And outside of that, actually, some could say he's competition, but we don't do that. He's also in the podcasting industry. You guys have probably seen me on his podcast Back and Forth with Monashe. Guys, I can only be talking about the one and only King Kandoro.
Very clearly you have a budget limitation, I thought.
I know. Sorry, you don't have to point it out, Sha.
No, that's...
You know what? We can add it in post.
No, I've already said it. As a competitor, they didn't have confetti. So it's a very...
You guys, do you have confetti?
No, 10 to a bridge. How are you, Nyasha?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming because, and I really want to set the tone for this chat, yeah? Am I referring to you as King Kandoro? Or am I referring to you as Mukudze?
Either is fine, honestly, because you know how I think people like to do outer egos and what.
Yeah.
For me, it's one and the same person.
They're the same people.
They really are the same. It's just one is the thing that we used and use very often to ask people for money. But it's really one and the same person that you see, and if you interact with me as Mukudze and you don't know about this whole King Kandoro side, it's still going to be the same person. I like to think so.
Okay, so does your wife ever call you King Kandoro?
When she's annoyed.
Eish,
yeah,
for real?
Yeah.
So how many times do you hear that a day, that name from her?
I try not to annoy her as much as I can. I try, but yeah, she if she says my full name, she says Mukudze.
Then like, you know.
Cool. Yeah, it's usually babe.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Okay. All right. Well, for some of you here watching or listening, you probably know King Kandoro, even though he said that it's the same person. Yeah. So for the sake of your beloved fans who are watching and listening, we're going to just refer to you as King Kandoro. But if the Mukudze comes, don't blame me because guess what? We're friends here.
Yeah.
And thank you for joining me on this podcast, friend, because, I have so much that I want to find out about you. I've seen you in action many times. You've almost broken my ribs with laughter. But I want us to start really with a question that I ask each and every single one of my guests. What is one defining moment that led you to the path that you're on today?
The defining moment? It was some random day in, I can't remember, was it April? I don't know why April stands out for me, but it was in 2015.
Yeah.
I was around a group of friends, and we were coming from church. It was a group of church friends. 2015, we're in South Africa, Rhodes University. The idea of dropping out was very much percolating in my brain.
Wow.
And I didn't know it, but I just needed that push over the cliff. So we're having a conversation. It's a group of friends, about 8 people. There's some girls, there's some guys. The topic of abstaining comes up. This very pretty girl is talking about she will very seriously commit to abstinence until marriage. She was 21 at the time.
Yeah. She
wanted to get married at 28. So
she knew she had
that was the reaction that everyone had. Yeah. So people start making fun of, oh my goodness, oh what, that's crazy.
Yeah.
What, you know, the level of thirst, it's going to be like at this way. So the jokes start flying.
Yeah.
I just found myself, I can't stop.
So you were one of the jokers.
The idea of it was a ridiculous proposition, and we're all having a good time. But somehow I was the only person who couldn't stop. You know, when people want to move on to other topics, but I keep coming with these ridiculous, like, can you imagine at the wedding? And then this one girl just looks at me and says, you know what? You really need to consider doing stand-up comedy.
Oh, yeah?
Her name was Kuda. That's the day that I wrote my first joke, like intentionally, because I think prior to that, I had always thought about the idea of being funny as a character trait, not as a talent. I just thought it was something. I just thought that's me.
Just part of who you are.
I didn't think of it as a talent because I don't know what I thought talents were. But yeah, so that's for me is one of easily the most defining, because without that lovely lady, we probably wouldn't be here.
Man, shout out to this lovely lady who had the boldness and the confidence to tell people, yo, I am going to abstain. And then comes this guy who makes you the butt of his joke.
Yeah.
But at least, you know what she's doing, which I guess was for the Lord. What she's doing for the Lord, look at how it directly impacted you or influenced your life.
Shout out to her for, you know, shout out to her for that. I don't know if she committed, but, you know,
I would love to know. I really would love to know. And I know some people probably would love to know as well. What was your first joke? You said that's the day you wrote your first joke. What was it?
My first joke was something to do about how my parents were civil servants. And because they were civil servants, the only thing that they could steal from their jobs were dishing towels so it was something within that realm of the comparison.
Yeah.
But I thought, even to this day, I still really like the joke, because at its core, it was about comparing how a president is also a civil servant, but a teacher is a civil servant. But the upshots of that are very different. What a teacher can get and what a minister can get.
Yeah.
So it was all about how I went back to my parents and were like, you're telling me you and a minister are both civil servants. And the disappointment of that. And I was very proud of that. I think I still am quite proud of that. But I always knew that I had a specific kind of comedy that I had in my mind. Yeah. Where it came from the kind of comedy that I enjoyed, where I always felt like I want to do comedy that looks like somebody spent a few moments thinking about it.
Yeah.
You know, it was only later that I found out it's called political satire.
Yeah, because you really get into it to the point where when I first came across your work, which was a while ago, I was like, yo, this guy really does his research. But I want people to find out the trajectory of that. So I don't want us to jump there firstly. Right. When you said to me that, you just thought that being funny thing is a character trait, you remind me of one or two of my cousins. We all have that one person in our family that you're just like, yo, this guy, this person, when they come in, they're the jokester. So what was it like when you were growing up? Were you always the kid, always, making the jokes? Oh, so what were you like?
No. So I come from a place where no one is trying to be funny. Everyone is funny. Everyone is. Like, I grew up in a police camp.
Thing. You grew up with.
I grew up in a police camp. My father was a policeman. My mom was a teacher. Everyone in a police camp is broke. There's so many funny things.
Pay them, guys.
Like, everyone is broke, right? Like, everyone is poor. You know what the neighbors, like what the next door neighbors, you know how much money, because that's how much money your father also makes.
Oh my.
So there's no mystery. There's no pretense.
Yeah.
Everyone, you go to the same schools, you're raised, you can hear the neighbors frying what they're frying. So it's one of those situations where everyone is funny, but from a place of self. No one is trying to make anyone laugh, but it's from a place of, it's just, you're trying to make a football out of things that shouldn't be making a football. You're trying to make a playhouse out of things that shouldn't, because you've seen, it's one person, maybe it's one family who has the color TV. So you start going there to watch Studio 263. It's all this. So my funny came maybe from a place of survival. It was a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Right? Because the joy also in growing up in that scenario where everyone is poor is you don't know you're poor.
That's something I thought about as a kid.
This is life.
Yeah.
So imagine the shock when I grew up and I was finding out. I was sitting there like, oh.
Because I was going to ask you, what is that moment that you realized
university.
What was it that happened at uni?
I happened to be very smart at school, so I got a scholarship to go to a school that I had no business going to. This is a school where they send ministers' children.
Which school?
Rhodes University.
Yo, nice. Okay.
So I'm plugged out of the depth of Shurugwi.
Shurugwi.
Like Midlands, deep. But here's the thing about Shurugwi. You don't need to know where Shurugwi is or what it looks like.
Why?
What you're picturing is exactly what it looks like.
What if I'm not from Zimbabwe, yeah? And you're describing
From how I'm describing it, you can... Okay. If you're not from Zimbabwe and you've seen African movies, when they're trying to paint the rags to riches story, the village where they set up,
will go to
that's Shurugwi.
Wow.
Right?
So that's the area that you grew up in?
That's where I was raised.
Wow.
So imagine taking a kid from that place and sending them to South Africa.
Yeah.
Where now you like, what? Like, what are we talking about? I remember I used to text my friends the entire first week I was there. Yeah, the women. Because the concentration of, like, even the way people dress, it's still blowing your mind. Like,
what did people use to dress like in Shurugwi?
Not with so much freedom.
Yeah. So we're talking long skirts.
Yeah, we're talking. If long skirts or short skirts, it implies a certain kind of intentionality, right? When we were in Shurugwi, you dress with what's there to be dressed. So it could be a short something, but it's not from a place of choice. It's probably because you've outgrown. This thing was a long skirt at some point, but you've grown. But you've grown up again. So it's a thing where now it's mini skirts. It's what it's I don't know what do they call them? Crop tops. So imagine a kid you're looking at that and it's still blowing your mind. Like, I can't believe I'm here.
Yeah.
All these lights, all these food choices, fast food, there's no one checking. There's no one checking you in terms of, this is the time to sleep. This is the time to wake up.
So did you lose your mind when you got there?
Absolutely.
What is one wild thing that you did?
I tried to start drinking.
Tried?
Yeah.
Okay, this is a story I want to hear. What happened?
I had never been interested in alcohol because I grew up around people that drink alcohol. So I always knew that thing is dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, I come from a long line of people that make Delta Beverage is very profitable. You know, they work hard, the people from my family, to keep that business sustainable.
Yeah.
So I always knew, like, that's not, like, I was never really interested, you know, when you become desensitized to alcohol. But then when you get to university and people your age are also drinking, and you're not drinking, you look like a snitch, like you're collecting information so that you can tell on them. People are like, you don't drink. Why?
Exactly.
So to make people feel comfortable, I started drinking. But then after you vomit and you're like,
hey, so you went hardcore, hey?
It wasn't even like I went hardcore, but it was just like, this is a new thing. You know, this is very new. But also, like, there's something that alcohol does that, like, you know, a heightened level of self-belief, and you want to keep going, and then, but you're not babying, you know, you're not doing gradually. So I immediately realized that, nah.
So does that mean you don't drink anymore?
I don't think I could even be categorized as somebody who drank. I did it a few times, but I think you can categorize somebody who drinks if you are somebody who's like, you know what, I could use a cold one. I think we can. I don't think I ever had a moment where I'm like, you know what, today
I need a cold beer.
And you lick your lips. I mean, if you lick your lips when you think of alcohol,
hey, there's something there.
I mean, to be fair, that's a different level. But like, I don't think I ever had a moment where I by myself. It was always within social settings, and when I realized it was a bit too much for me,
you were like, no.
Yeah, because it also made me very self-conscious, because I know already I'm a very talkative person. So when I drink, you know how people, when they're drunk, they become investment bankers.
Comes out.
You know, they start selling you stock. You should do this. I would become very self-conscious, and so it made me very down. So I just.
Wow, I find that very interesting for you to say that. It made you very dull if you were drinking. So, of course, this is not something that you do very often. And, of course, we know you because of your satire, your intelligence. Because I personally think comedians are one of the most intelligent people, some of the most intelligent people on earth. Because, like, the fact that you guys can take something very, very seriously and come up with these bars, and then it's just like, wait, what, how did he? So, like, well done to you for doing that. And what I want to do is for us to go back to where we left off.
We'll be right back.
All right, let's take a little break from the podcast for a moment. Have you been trying to get into real estate in Zimbabwe, or are you looking to expand your portfolio? Because as we all know, the real estate market in Zimbabwe is growing. And our sponsor this season is Velda Estates, and their development, Spitzkop Gardens, is almost sold out. And because of the demand from all of you guys, Velda Estates have announced their second development, Christopher Muse. As expected, it's a gated community on the same street as Spitzkop Gardens, so a perfect location close to town. There'll be beautiful designs to choose from. You'll be able to get your title deeds when you buy. Plus, Velda Estates will do that high quality job of servicing the stands that you know them for. Now is the best time to reach out to them, because those stands are going fast. And the contact details are on the screen. And don't forget to follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Now back to the podcast.
Now, back to the show.
After you decided to, unfortunately, make the child of God the butt of your jokes. But anyways, she inspired you. Yeah. And you said that you just needed something to just push you off the cliff in terms of quitting university. So is that what you did? What happened next?
I did. So I was in Toastmasters. And in Toastmasters, I genuinely don't know what the purpose of Toastmasters really is. How I understand it is it's meant to build your confidence, you know, your eloquence. Yeah. So you're talking in front of people, they grade you and whatnot. So I had been part of the Rhodes chapter of Toastmasters. I went there for the wrong reasons. They had the best looking women at the time. They had the best food. And I was like, you know, I like talking. So they would say, come speak. So I would make these little 5-minute things. Yeah. And they would always say, oh, that was funny. Oh, that was dope, man. But that was really funny.
Yeah.
So after I wrote that thing, I then wrote a full 7 minutes. Because the thing is, with also being funny with these judges, you become very likable very quickly.
Okay.
So I was progressing at a faster rate than everybody else that was doing, because no one would even focus on whether it made sense.
They were just
You know,
like,
they were like, oh, that
laugh.
was, I, for the life of me, I can't tell you what the speeches were about. Random things that I would just, okay. So this time after that conversation, I wrote what was intentionally a very comedic set, which I went and performed. And they were like, okay, you are really funny.
Yeah.
I remember one guy afterwards was like, you know what? He was Zimbabwean, South Africa. I was like, you know what? You really could be the Zimbabwean version of Trevor. And I was like, you don't know what you've done. You don't know what you've done. That's all I needed. I shouted to that guy whether he was lying or not. That's all I needed. What? Zimbabwe version of who?
Trevor.
Straight Cape Town. Got on a bus.
Wow.
It was a Friday. Yeah, got on a bus. Went to the Armchair Comedy. I think Armchair Comedy Club is still there. Lovely guy named Yassine Barnes. I had sent him a message. You know, the confidence that comes from delusion. Hey man, can I do a little something? I'm just trying. Yeah, man, we have open mic, I think on Wednesday, come through.
Yeah.
Went there, it was terrible.
Says who?
Objectively speaking.
Yeah. Because
the difference is I was performing comedy for people that didn't expect comedy. So it's funny. But at a comedy club, people have come for that thing.
Yeah.
So the standard is what they're accustomed to. And also I had never been in front of a stage where the lights are.
Right.
You know, so,
face,
you know, and your nerves. So
was
it was
the heart beating?
Ooh, you know, because I think it was also the fear of, but I loved it.
Yeah.
It was terrible, but I loved it. I was like, that's when I knew, like, I want to try again. You know, so, but I also knew that I wanted to figure this thing out in Zim. So, I stayed there in Cape Town, I think for a month. My good friend, William Karmatsenga, had a flat. I was like, man, come stay here. So we're banking, together, for that month. And then at the end of the month, I was like, hey man, let me go struggle at home.
The hustle.
You know, let me go struggle at home. Whatever happens at home, you know, I will never be short of a meal. So I got on a bus, headed to Zim. On my way through Johannesburg, I stopped through Parker's Comedy Club. It was still there. Did another set. It was also terrible. I mean, that one was even worse than the Cape Town one because there were less people there.
Oh.
You know, when it's less people and none of them are laughing, it's I don't even think they paid. Do you know how entitled people who haven't paid for a comedy show are? It's ridiculous. At least people who paid for a comedy show are like, I'm going to get my money back. You know, I'm going to, but people who haven't paid are like, it's like you're appropriate a talent show. Like, So they were watching me. They could tell I was nervous. No one, like not even a who or ha ha.
And nothing. But that didn't make you feel like, no, I can't do this, or I'm not going to do this. How did that make you feel? Because you said it was terrible. The first one was terrible, but I was fine with you. You were okay with that.
So I think at that point, by the second one, I had already committed.
Because you were in it.
Yeah, I was already committed. This is just speed bumps on my way. This is, I'm ticking it off. There was nothing that was going to deter me at this point. I'm going to do this comedy thing. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out at home. I already had confidence in this plan where I'm like, you know what? I think that's the thing that is everything that I've done, even from my siblings will be the first to tell you. I commit.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing that I've always had on my side. Like I commit to whatever delusions of grandeur are pushing us at the time.
Yeah, because in life sometimes you do have to be delulu. Because if you're not delulu in it,
it's not even sometimes.
All the time.
Like if you see my wife.
Yeah.
Delusions.
How did he get her?
Exactly. Like my whole life is because
I love your wife though.
She's don't do that.
Why though?
No, we can't both love them.
But why?
No, we can't.
But why not? Do you not know that it's possible?
You like my don't put.
But why?
You can't love my wife.
Why, but you have to pressure. They said things you can give her the icon.
No,
so it's okay.
You're too pressure. Now. But yeah, man, she's lovely. She's incredible.
Yeah.
My father, brilliant piece of advice he gave me. And my father, at that time, he was not in the business of giving advice. He said, "Mfano wangu, ufana rora mukadzi akanaka." I'm verbatim,
Wow.
which directly translates to make sure you marry a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
And he explained. I was like, yeah, because your kids have to look a certain way. Every time I look at my kids, I'm like, that man was spitting.
Because they got their cute genes from her, not from you. Is that? I mean, you I am just asking.
I don't know. There's this science these days where people say kids get their good looks from their. But here's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like that woman, the things that she has done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from the kids that we have.
Yeah.
And how they look and how they're going to be and how smart they are. And, you know, so everything in my life is powered by delusions, the delusions to approach a woman like that, the delusion to say, I want to do comedy, the delusions to say that, oh, I'm going to leave everything that I know and set off to a different country.
Yeah.
The delusions to say, you know, we're going to do comedy, we're going to start this podcast, we're going to, you know, it's really been, it's really been different bouts of delusions.
Yeah, which I think I'll definitely be taking a leaf from.
We'll be right back.
Hey, I hope you are enjoying this episode of With Nyasha Michelle, but I did have to interrupt you a little bit to remind you, are you subscribed? I know you're enjoying the content, so make sure that you subscribe, but also don't forget to like, share, and comment. Put something in the comments there. What's your favorite bits? What's the bits that you don't like? Who do you want to see me talk to next? All right, you can go back now.
Now, back to the show.
I do want to go further into what happened when you got to Zim.
Yeah.
Because that really, you know, fired up who you are now. But I want to go back to something else because whilst we are here to talk about you with your comedy and stuff, I want us to get to go behind, to know you beyond, you know, what you do. So we start first with finding out about, listen, I said I love her, so we're going to talk about her again. How did you meet your wife?
Unplugged.
No. Tell me everything.
2017 December, they used to have a habit in their family where they would come to Zim every December. And this particular December, they, as part of their December excursion, they were unplugged.
Yeah, which is a festival.
Festival in Zim. I was there. You know, I think this is like early days of King Kandoro becoming King Kandoro. Okay. So there was some level of recognizability, especially if you were on social media. Yeah. Especially if you were a Twitter person. So unfortunately for her, she then says, "Oh, are you King Kandoro?" Oh. I'm like, that was it. That's really.
What was your bar? Did you like have a bar?
There was no bar because in my mind I was like, are you telling me I'm funny enough for women who look like this to recognize me? That was it. Oh. That was it for me. Like, are you telling me I'm funny enough where somebody like this would be interested enough to say, "Are you King Kandoro?" Oh, I think that was her thing. She wasn't flirting. She wasn't trying. It wasn't a move. She was really being kind because she was on her way somewhere. But I was like, "Hey,
okay, I see you."
But I didn't leave her the entire day.
Sure.
Yeah, that was it.
She knew, and the man with intentionality.
I didn't leave her the entire day.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I get from that as a woman who needs to be, I mean, I'm very traditional. I'm like, the guy can talk to me. Girls, shoot your shot. Even though if you're not thinking that you're shooting your shot, just talk to the guy. Say, hey, how you doing? Are you, you know, you never know.
I think what happened there is like you're saying, like being receptive to whatever outcomes, right?
Yeah.
Where if she had overthought it,
Yeah,
If
because she could be like, oh my God.
she could have been like, oh, if I say hi to him, he's going to think,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But she just said hi. So if she had overthought it, maybe she wouldn't have said hi, and I probably wouldn't have seen her in the light that I did after she said, yeah.
Okay.
So
And another question to get to know you more.
Yeah.
Do you have any siblings? And what are they like?
I have 2 sisters.
Yeah.
Makomborero and Munevimbo. Loveliest human. Very funny. I come from a very funny family. Very beautiful as well. Very, very beautiful sister. Makomborero is married. Munevimbo is finishing up her uni next year, I believe. Yeah. So, and they've been a very big part of my career. There's several stories that, you know, if you're watching, like, I don't think there's ever been a time where we've done a show and they're excluded somehow. There's already an anecdote, big, small, of something that they said that ends up making it into the show.
This is the thing about comedians. I could never marry a comedian or a pastor.
You end up as the sermon.
I will always be the sermon, or I will be the butt of the jokes.
But also,
you know what I mean?
You gotta find what you focus on. Do you want to not be the butt of the joke, or do you want the offering?
Your way. Okay, now we're gonna move on swiftly. What happened once you got to Zim? Because once you decided to really hone in into that Delulu, and you were like, I'm gonna go home. That's where you started doing some of the stuff that we then all got to know you from.
I got to Zim, linked up with a friend of mine named Godfrey Kadzere, who ended up teaching me most of the things that would help me. So he knew how to use Adobe Premiere. He had a camera. So some of my first videos were recorded on his Nikon. Very, very instrumental. I remember the first time I uploaded something on YouTube, 5 February 2016.
Wow.
And, you know, he would record these videos of me just being silly in front of a camera. You know, at the time, you know, stand-up comedy doesn't really have set platforms where you can go. So you're just waiting to be called to perform this. I knew I wanted to be part of this thing called Magamba.
Yeah.
It looked like they were doing some dope stuff there. I didn't understand what was happening or where, but for some reason it looked like there was money involved. You know,
wherever money was, you were
going.
It
looked like, because it looked like there was some level of effort. You know, they had iPads. You know, like there's, you know.
But for those who don't know, what was Magamba though?
I would then later find out that Magamba was a, you know, civic society organization that had these different departments. So one of the departments was Magamba TV, which was a satirical production house.
Yeah.
They had these different departments which did different things. There was a music festival component to it. There was a digital newspaper. There was a citizen journalism aspect. The thing that interested me the most was the satirical production, which then was invited to, you know, join as an intern. Best time of my life, you know. So that's when I started learning all these things. Like, oh, okay, this is what political satire is. This is, you know, I'd always been a big fan of literature, of reading, you know, and I'd always wanted my comedy to reflect that. And what, you know, my time at Magamba ended up being then was almost like a continuation of what university could or should have been for me.
One thing I didn't ask you actually is, what did you study at uni?
Law.
Oh my way.
Yeah.
So if you ever got into trouble, you can defend yourself.
No.
Oh, okay.
I can smartest myself out of it, but yeah, there's people languishing in jail because they think. Shout out Mike Chimon.
Let's carry on. So so once you got involved in that, did it then make you think, all right, I can do more? And did it give you the confidence to really hone in on the political satire? Because I think you guys are, I've already given you the props of being intelligent people, but I think you guys are very, very, what's the word? You guys are very fearless with some of these jokes.
I don't know if that is something that I can attribute to being at Magamba. I think I can attribute it to my childhood.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know, Magamba does end up having, you know, some kind of ancillary, you know, but growing up in a police camp is what did the most damage. If you grow up around a lot of policemen walking around aimlessly, and you know they're it desensitizes you to like, who are you to like my reaction to when people see a policeman walking past and other people's reaction, like that guy used to come home every day to me. So like my danger to that is kind of like, oh, you kind of really have to say something for me to be like, so growing up in that place really desensitizes you to the idea of power. Because when it's outside, people are like...
I was about to say they're different outside.
Exactly.
In
home. But like those are like, that's the guy next door. Do you get what I mean? So you see them as who they are in their families. You don't really see them as policemen. So I think that's what created this persona where you kind of speak your mind within the realms of respect. If you really watch, you know, the thing that you're doing, you're not trying to be disrespectful. You're trying to articulate a very specific point.
Yeah.
I think the conditions of my growing up then, what you guys see as being fearless is actually maybe not an acute unawareness to danger. So, you know, if a kid grew up in a line in Cheetah Park, and a kid who didn't grow up in a line in Cheetah Park, they're going to be, when they see a cheetah, they're going to be like, oh.
Yeah, okay. Hey, that's nice.
They're going to want to throw something. And, where you guys are going to, so I think that's how it works. But if you see like the intention when we do that political side, it's not to be disrespectful. It's not to fight. It's to, you know.
What is it to do?
Communicate. I mean, if I'm using NGO terms, they like to call it speak truth to power.
Speak truth to power.
But
I think that's what probably really helped in your rise, because I think you used your comedy, and of course this is beyond Magamba TV, to say some of the things that people were thinking. So
how I really think about it is, in this lovely thing of ours we call Zimbabwe, everyone has a role to play, and everyone is playing that role. I'm not the guy you call to build things. I'm not the guy you call to heal people. My role, I believe, is to share and get this information where it needs to go.
Got it.
So comedy just happens to be the front for the thing. I always revert back to the courage that was, you know, shown by the guys who went to war. Very young guys who took it upon themselves to say, yo, not really feeling what's happening. Not really vibing.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to go to the bush. We're going to sacrifice our lives. When you really read the stories of how some of these were guys that were at very nice schools, you know, but they were like, you know what? Let me go contribute. I'm not that guy.
No, you ain't laying down your life.
I'm not that guy. Right? My role then, if you watch my stuff and you think, as an African, maybe I can do better. As a Zimbabwean, maybe I can do better. Because the one thing that we keep repeatedly being told was, I think there was even a time where young people were being castigated as, you know, unfocused youth. You guys you're not tapped into national processes. So those are things that I take very personally on behalf of, young people to say, okay, maybe it's the way the information is being presented.
Yeah.
It's not being packaged in a way that young people would be interested to hear this, traditional media. So why not try to make it palatable in the way you wouldn't think I dropped out with all these words, would you?
I legit, he's saying palatable, all of these things. I'm just like, all these big, exactly. Hey, drop another one. Make them laugh, make them open the dictionary.
But yeah, so my role then is how do we make sure that the young people know what's happening in a way that relates
to them.
Yeah. That way, because I feel like information is easily the most important thing that we have.
Yeah.
But if whatever the information is, it could be entertainment information. I think that's where the misconception is, where it's very easy to reduce what I do to be like, oh, this is political satire. I think I used to do that as well. So I don't blame people. But the reason why the podcast exists is so that we tone down, it's just guys sitting on a proverbial bridge. When we do propaganda, it's a bit more serious. When we do the stand-up, when we do the game show, it's let's get the information in however way. That's my obsession.
Yeah.
However way you find it. There's people that know me purely from the podcast. They don't care about anything else that I do.
Wow.
There's people that will find out about me via propaganda, and when they see the podcast, they're like, we don't like this watered down version of we're going to stay. So, but it's all one person, so yeah.
You've just mentioned all the other things that you've also done.
Yeah.
So from
very impressive guy.
Yeah, very, very impressive. Like his CV, how many pages do you have? You've done quite a lot. So, but then of course now you're here. You are doing the podcast Black and Forth.
Yeah.
But you are so busy that sometimes I see you guys doing it on the screens. Let me tell you something. When I saw you guys, not doing it live, I was like, hey, who's traveling here? It's like, listen, I'm booked and busy. Okay. I can't fit you in for my own thing. But why did you also want to tap into podcasting?
I think it's just a cool way to
and why Munashe? Sorry, why Munashe?
He has a brilliant mind.
You guys together.
Yeah.
When I mentioned it earlier, right? I was on Black and Forth with Kandoro, and the way these people made me laugh, it was just too much. Like I remember my ribs, and then I had my family members. A lot of my family members, were messaging me like, hey, I'm watching you on Black and Forth, and they feel like they said to me like, oh, I saw a different side of you, and it was really, really interesting. I like that about it too.
Let me tell you something that Nyasha did when she came to do. She was so apprehensive, right? She came with a BBC swag on, and when you can tell like media trained, we don't speak. I'm like, okay, cool. So if you watch the video, the first 5 minutes is her trying to, and then at some point I think she realized like this thing is off the rails. Let me stop trying to get it back on the rails. Point. But at the same time, I think at some point it also clicked that this thing being off the rails, it's not in a salacious way. It's very, at some point, I think so I get the people that will say, I saw a different side of you because they probably have seen you in very, hi, this is the BBC. This is the BBC. Cheese and fruit. So they're seeing you there, you're laughing, you're even throwing in your little jokes, you're one of us, you're chilled. And I think for me, that's what I've always had in mind, where it's creating places of comfort for different people to connect, because I think people are so multifaceted, right?
Yeah.
The guy who is the CEO of this very big company, when he gets home, he probably watches the most raggedy of shows. Mm-hmm. People watch reality TV. Yeah. So you're always trying to represent, when you see me doing this, and that's not all of me. And it's not all of you as well. So, it's always trying to find points to connect with people. And also, I think as a creative, the one thing that I've also tried to do is not be pigeonholed.
Yeah.
Not to even pigeonhole. The way people are like, he's only good at this thing. I'm like, before you say that, we're going to try this new thing.
Yeah.
You know, before you say that, we're going to try a new thing. But I think in doing that, I've also realized things that I enjoy personally. And I'm like, okay, I've tried this thing. I don't really like it.
Wow.
So I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. No. Honestly, you did good to do that. And I was just, and I'm not really used to being in spots like that, you know, especially because I'm the one who's normally on the other side interviewing other people. And then the interviews, they tend to be quite serious. And then I'm met by these two jokers. Like, but I was comfortable outside of that. I was really, really comfortable. And now that I'm having you here and you're talking to me, I want to see more of you. What more are you doing? Because you've really gone and done a whole bunch of things, and the tree keeps on growing new branches.
I think we're going to have to stop this tree from growing, because it's becoming a headache for everyone now. Yeah, it's becoming a very serious headache, even for me. Where it's like, okay, let's. I have 2 kids now. I can't, like it's greedy at this point to try and be like, what else so, but at the same time, it's also like, it's very exciting, you know? I'm the one thing that I know I can't leave this earth without at least attempting is, you know, the idea of building something that many people will have access to, in terms of being able to record or be around facilities that allow them to perform, you know, or create things. Because the language that you keep hearing in the creative sector, where we're still waiting on Netflix to take a look at us, we're still waiting on, you know, so just creating something that allows people to just jump on and be like, hey, we're not waiting for anyone. You know, we're going to do our stuff, you know, make it available to our people, and our people will decide if they like it or not. So yeah, I really want to create something that people will watch, people will, not people, like a space, create a space for creatives. So that's my obsession.
Listen, it's amazing to hear about the legacy that you want to be leaving behind, but we have to also take a little bit of a serious turn here, because comedy, whilst it's serious, it comes from a lot of really interesting, serious subjects, and some of it is also from pain. So how do you, King Kandoro Mukudze, take care of your mental health when you are essentially making the world laugh?
How do I take care of my mental health? I think that's a difficult one, because I feel like, to begin with, I'm in a very privileged position to be able to do this comedy thing, you know, where it feels like with each joke, you're releasing a part of, you know, so it's a very cathartic experience of being able to, release your feelings in a very positive way. Okay. You know, so you don't, comedy, especially when you're doing it the way that I prefer to do it, is very, it has to come from a true place. So I think that helps. I don't know if it's intentional. Most of it isn't really intentional. It's just, how can I find a better way to make these people laugh? But I think from the intentional side, my family does help a lot. You know, just being around those people, keeping you grounded, making sure, you know, checking in on you. I have very, you know, good people that always remind me, you know, so being married. Yeah.
And how did you, because you lost your mom like fairly recently, no?
It's 2 years now.
2 years, yeah. How did you deal with that? Because from
I went
every
on
time.
tour.
Huh?
I went on tour. I think it was 11 days after. 11 days after my mom passed away.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. How did that pan in terms of like actually helping?
It was already organized. Yeah. So it was already organized. I mean, have you ever heard of the concept of refunding people money? You know,
so you're like, it's either that Or
Yeah, so I think it came at a it was already, my mom had been unwell for a while. And when she passed on, it was like, oh, do we cancel this? I think there was 3 weeks in between. So it was like, do we cancel? But then what will I do with all that time?
Yeah.
You know, if I'm not on the go. So while I was on there, the people that were coming to the show knew that my mom had passed away. So there was a lot of hugging. There was a lot of, you know, I don't know whether they were laughing because the jokes were there, but they were laughing. They're like, this is our Chema.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, it was very cathartic in that way. You know, so, you know.
When you're busy though, did it help you to grieve properly?
No, I think I grieved like, I probably grieved this year because that's when I didn't have things happening. So after that, I went on another tour. So it was just trying to backdate this, you know, grief. I mean, I would, you know, from time to time, you just find yourself crying in the airport.
Yeah.
And people are like, wait, did you miss your flight?
No, I miss my mommy.
Yeah. You know.
But hey, it's good though. It's honestly, it's good grieving. And the reason why I asked that is because when I lost my grandfather, it was very sudden. He wasn't sick. It was an accident. Please do not drink and drive. And I mean this very seriously. That's how my grandfather passed away. And it was so traumatic. You know, it was very, very traumatic because I was like to God, hey, this is the person who was supposed to walk me down the aisle, all these different things. And then I came, of course, to Zim, did the funeral, everything. And then I went back. And when I went back the next day, when I went back to the UK, I was at work the next day. And like, I was just, but then I realized because I just kept going because I really struggled with the whole, like, how do I deal with this grief? It took me years to actually finally, my spirit, I won't even say like me, like my spirit finally accept that, this man is gone, you know? So, I mean, shout out to your mom because without her, you wouldn't be here.
I really wouldn't. Like, she was the biggest gangster I knew. Yeah. She literally propelled all her kids to what they are. Like our work ethic, that's our mother. Yeah, she was, you know, my dad also has an incredible work ethic, but I'm just shouting out number one. You know, my mom.
I mean, come on.
You know,
it's Amai. I do have to ask you this though, going back to you and your jokes. What is one joke that nearly got you cancelled?
Nearly?
I mean, or maybe you've been cancelled before, we don't know, but
the idea of being cancelled to me is very, very tricky. Because the whole concept of being a comedian is premised on being self-aware. Like there's no one who doesn't know the kind of effect their joke is going to have. Like it's opposite to what being a comedian is. So what you're really asking me is, what have I intentionally done to make people mad?
There you go. What have you intentionally done to make people at all?
Intentionally make people mad? Like the people.
Like the word, exactly.
I do what they call in the history books, divide and conquer. I find who the people, that's who we make fun of. Why am I trying to make these people who are paying for all these wonderful things that are happening, why am I trying to make them mad?
So you're trying to make the others mad?
No, I'm trying to make the people laugh by making this guy mad. Because what can you do to me? I have the people on my side.
Oh, it's all in the...
You know,
I see.
Like, so I don't like the idea of being controversial for controversial sake. Like I every single thing that you've had me say as a joke, if you see me in the street and ask me why were you saying that, I can defend it. There's nothing that we say accidentally. Even the things that we say accidentally are the funny things, but not the offensive things. Every offensive thing that you've had is well choreographed for the offense it is intended. But when you now see me trying to offend the people, we've lost the plot now. Because who are we trying to impress? You know, we're on the side of the people. The people are the ones that are, you know, making this.
No. Okay. We got to get that. Okay. Well, you know what? It's been amazing talking to you. It's been very interesting getting this insight into you, but I feel like I haven't gotten, you know, everything. So that means that there has to be a King Kandoro with Nyasha Michelle 2.0. It's definitely gonna come, but it will have to come after I come on Black and Forth for the second interview.
Oh, okay.
Definitely, you know, we do this.
I mean, if you come back on Black and Forth, it won't really be interview. Like, you know, friend of the podcast, come hang out.
There we go.
You know.
That's it. That's the same. So you can come as a friend of my podcast.
Yeah.
You know, I need that sometimes. You can carry me a little bit because I have to always be the one asking the questions.
Yeah.
So now we get to do something called Pass the Mic.
Okay.
But let me tell y'all first what this is. Since we're in season 4 and we've had a little bit of a break, let me remind you what Pass the Mic is. As you know, I love to keep the community talking, including our guests, you know, getting an insight into their lives and asking those questions that they've always wanted to ask somebody. So Pass the Mic is when a guest leaves another question for the next guest. So previous guest passes the mic to next guest.
Yeah.
Now, our very last episode of season 3 was a journalist that I've worked with and have been very, very inspired by. And she's African and she's Black and she is a woman, Bola Mosoro. She was our very last guest of last season. And she left this Pass the Mic question for the one and only King Kandoro. And she says, what piece of advice was given to you by a parent that you retain till this day? You've told us about your daddy and make sure you marry a beautiful wife. But is there anything else that either one of your parents have given you?
I mean, my parents didn't have money, so they had a lot of advice. I'm trying to
Oh,
think.
no offense at all. If I said that with my mom was like, what do you mean?
No, and this is the thing that parents without money. It's a lot of kutsu right in the house. Like, don't do it. If you, it's just like, hey, my guy, you're trying to distract her. You know, you're trying to, where's the PlayStation? My parents, all they had was advice, man. But I mean, it worked out.
It did. I mean,
shout out to that. So it's things to do with working hard, mostly. I mean, up to a certain point, it was the whole education is the key to success. So,
I mean, he dropped out of uni, so and you're doing pretty well. You're not doing too bad.
And here's the thing: they were not that far. Education really is the key to success because it's just that I needed a different education.
That's it.
Yeah, it's just that I didn't need a different, but education nonetheless. I'm trying to think, man. Seminal piece of advice. Again, it's probably something that my dad said about, you know, the idea of being married. You know, could you, like, I think it was, I don't remember the exact word, but it was something to do with the kind of lies you lie. Could you, you know, like to your wife.
Okay.
You can't lie about serious things. You know, you can't lie about things that one way or the other she's going to verify. I mean, you can lie about things like, you know, the dress. Is this dress nice or is this nigga? So exactly. Okay. So it was something to do with that about, you know, keeping the peace in the household or being, you know, how to maintain a marriage. He gave a very specific Shona example about something that I think it's only now that I'm realizing it's something that he had done. So, you know, it's, and he was found out and was like, okay, you can't do that, Mvanango. Like, you can't say, oh, don't worry about your mother-in-law. I've sorted out money, you know, because your mother is going to verify and then find out that I haven't been sending money and it's going to be a big problem. So it was something like that. So shout out to my dad, you know, for Black Label, you know, induced advice sessions. Shout out to him. Incredible guy.
That whiskey did its thing. Is Black Label whiskey?
Aish.
Oh no, I'm asking the person who doesn't drink. Sorry, sir.
No. I know the issue wasn't in that regard. It was.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is there something I didn't understand?
No, I said Black Label and you assumed it was whiskey.
Yeah, sure. What do you mean? Stop looking around like that.
I'm looking at the production team. They know. Like, we're talking about Black Label. He's
literally like laughing.
Yeah.
Behind this, okay, not he. The people behind the scenes are literally laughing. They know
exactly. Like, I'm talking. Okay. There's not a single person on this production team who had Black Label and thought whiskey. Not a single person. The entire time I've been talking about people being broke and whatnot. You think my father was like, you know what, as a civil servant, I am a connoisseur of fine whiskey. That's what you think my father was doing.
Guys.
You think that's what he was doing.
That's what
I'm talking about beer.
Beer.
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm talking about the big black one. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. You're talking whiskey? I'm going to clip this part and show you. I'm like, look at this.
She thought you had what? Is it? She thought you had money to buy a black label.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, that's why you need to come home often. That's legit why you need to come home often. And speaking of coming home, here in this season of With Nyasha Michelle in Zimbabwe, or let's flip it. Zimbabwe with Nyasha Michelle.
Yeah.
I want to tell people, I want to show our viewers and our listeners what Zimbabwe really is like, you know, in terms of the beautiful parts or whatever it is that whichever way you choose to answer this question. Yeah. And I like to call it's giving Zimbabwe. Yeah. So my question for you, Mr. Kandoro, is what is one thing that non-Zimbabwean people should know about this country?
The people.
The people. Yeah. Okay, what about us?
Incredible people. Oh. I think more than the sites, more than anything, I think the people outside need to know. Unfortunately, because of, you know, geopolitics and all this, it's very easy to, you know, put people in one basket and say, you know, Zimbabweans are like this, but very warm people, you know, against all odds, very funny people, very kind people. Okay. You know, the situation. So more than the sites, you know, if you get a chance to travel, you know, go where the people are, go to Chitungwiza and see those people see a camera, they want to speak.
Let's do that.
You know, they want to speak. Everybody has a story. Oh, this is what I've been doing. This is my flea market. This is what I do. I've sent kids to university. I think our people are the most, you know, the richest commodity we have. I
agree. Yeah. Yeah. You know, something that I get all the time when people meet me and then they ask me where I'm from. After I say I'm from Zimbabwe, they was like, oh, my best friend is Zimbabwean. Yeah. The amount of people I know who say their best friend is Zimbabwean or my wife is Zimbabwean because Zim girls, you know, we're all that. I mean, come on. It warms my heart. So he ain't lying. He ain't lying, y'all. He ain't lying. And on that note with King Kandoro, I just have to say thank you so much. This has been an amazing conversation. We've had a little bit more insight. I've learned officially what Black Label is. I'm going to take it with me when I go back to the other part of
I don't think they'll allow it.
No?
I don't think they'll allow it. No? Okay. It looks like a weapon.
Oh my gosh.
I don't think they're going to.
I am going to need to get this just for the sake of it and post a picture. So look out, guys, on the socials if we post a photo with this Black Label thing. Not that I'm going to drink it though.
You should. You should. No, you should. So that's first-hand experience. You should.
You know, okay. I'm going to do it with you. You have to be there.
Yeah, for evidence. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, guys, for watching, for listening. And again, as always, for always following With Nyasha Michelle podcast. Before I go, I know you guys know him and love him. However, do look at this camera and tell them where they can find you.
My name is Mukudze Kandoro Majwani. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. What's the other one?
X.
It's all King Kandoro. YouTube.
Yeah.
It's all King Kandoro everywhere. Yeah. You know, bank account.
Drop the what is that? Venmo? What they use in America?
Cash App.
Cash App, you know, all of
Cash App, Venmo, you know, sort code 00.
And when you're sending, make sure you also say this 5% goes to Nyasha. But anyways, guys, thank you.
No.
What do you mean? We're in this together, bro. We're in this together. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Thank you so much for listening and for joining and for, again, supporting this podcast. I couldn't be here without you guys. If there's somebody that you want us to talk to, any questions that you've got for them, make sure you put it in the comments. If you have a favorite part, if you knew what Black Label was, put it in the comments.
Yeah.
And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with everybody. Thank you guys. See you later.